Good morning, everybody. It's Coffee, Country, and Cody on WSM. Thank you for waking up with us on this Monday, the Monday after the Super Bowl. I'm Kelly Sutton, Charlie Mattos, Annie Nye. Jeff Roberts is upstairs. And we didn't call in sick today, so that's pretty good. We were just talking about how today is the day most people are like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to make it in.
Yeah, I think the fact that it was 34-0 in the third quarter, I think a lot of people thought, well, I'm certainly not going to oversleep.
Sure.
I think I'll be okay.
It wasn't a very raucous Super Bowl by any stretch of the imagination. We're going to run down all the things that happened. Post-show, pre-show, the, halftime show, what we thought about it, what you thought about it, because I've already had some people sound off on it on Instagram. So, yeah, we got a lot of things to talk about. Also, Jelly Roll and Post Malone showing up together. I mean, these two, they're the combo that we needed. And the search is over. We found them. I didn't find them. You found them, Charlie.
Thank you, Target
Yes.
in Brentwood. The Post Malone Oreos.
Post Malone Oreos. If you remember, we talked about these about a week and a half ago, that he was coming out with this collaboration with Oreo cookie. It is swirled salted caramel and shortbread flavor cream. And one side is a chocolate cookie and the other side is like the vanilla.
The blonde.
Yeah. So taste test. These are coming up. Stay tuned. I noticed they've been opened.
Yes. When there's Oreos and an 11-year-old in the house, they were opened. He loved the design on them because they have like neat designs on the cookie itself.
Yeah, they look cool.
But he was not that crazy about the cookie. He said it was okay.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Are they falling apart?
No. I just took the.
Okay.
I just took it off.
All right.
This also opens a whole discussion. How do you eat your Oreos?
Yeah. See, with that option, I would make all the Oreos blonde and only eat the blonde and not eat the chocolate Oreos.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so.
You're weird.
After like, 4.5 years, this finally dawned on you?
Now getting it?
The light bulb just went off on that fact?
And it was the Oreos.
It was the Oreos that did it.
Put me over the top.
So whole conversation about how you eat your Oreos and what these taste like coming up in just a little bit. Also, we have Anita Cochran and Brandon Dice coming in. This is such a cool event. It's coming up just in time for Valentine's Day. My Furry Valentine. So if you want to share the love with some sweet animals who are up for adoption, we've got the details.
My Furry Valentine.
My Furry Valentine.
Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
Excited to have some friends walk into the studio this morning. Anita Cochran and Brandon Dice are here telling us about My Furry Valentine. It's going to be happening tomorrow night, benefiting the Pet Community Center. They still have some tickets available. It's over at the Troubadour right across the street, Music Valley Drive. So we've got details on that and the lineup. But y'all, thank you for getting up early and coming in to tell us about this.
Always a pleasure.
It's
Absolutely.
so good to see you. It's so good to meet you, Brandon.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Well, tell us more about Pet Community Center, because I immediately, I'm in with all of the pets around town. We just did a big fundraiser with the Nashville Humane Association, which was so fun. So Pet Community Center is different. How do you guys help the community?
So Pet Community Center, we are Nashville's nonprofit vet clinic. So we support rescues, but we also support the general public in making veterinary care affordable and accessible for every dog and cat in our community.
That's so cool. So if there are people that are out there, and there are so many people, especially when we start talking about our seniors, where they're making decisions like, am I going to get my medicine or am I going to take my cat to the vet?
Right, and we see that a lot with medications, also with food. We have a pet food pantry, but we focus on preventative medicine. So your annual vaccinations, your monthly prevention, and then spay-neuter. And then all of our services are offered on a sliding scale. So if there's anyone that is facing financial hardship, we can provide services at low to even no cost for them.
And then when I looked on your website, I saw Fran's name, Fran Galante, a huge person in Music Row for years. I loved working with her and doing the tennis tournament at BMI. And I know she had such a heart and a passion for this as well.
She did. We're very blessed. Our clinic is the Fran Galante Center for Pet Wellness. And in January, we actually celebrated our 2-year anniversary there. And in that span, we've provided care to nearly 30,000 dogs and cats, and then nearly $750,000 in free medical care for vulnerable pets.
That's incredible. How did you get hooked up with all this, Anita?
Gosh, I've known about them for a long time. I was actually supposed to play your show last year, and I think I was one of the first artists booked, and ended up, I had a show in Florida I had to go do, so I didn't get to do it. So this year I was super excited to get to play it. I have several friends who are involved and perform it, you know, your show. Every year you guys have this event, and I'm just super excited to be here. I'm a huge animal lover, so that makes it even better.
Tell us, everybody that's going to be on the show, and how it all came about. Your friend Suzanne called and said, hey, I need some help booking this.
Well, Suzanne Alexander which is a wonderful host. You know her very well.
Yes.
She has hosted the show, I can't tell you for how many years, And she called me and she said, okay, will you be available this year, to be able to do the Pet Community Center show? And I said, of course. I'm putting it on my calendar right now. Don't change the date, So she's like, we're looking for some other artists to come and play too. Can you help us out at all? So I called Jamie O'Neill. She's one of my best friends and an amazing singer-songwriter and just a great human being. She's a huge animal lover.
Yeah.
And I called Brian White, called Wade Hayes, called Mandy, and they were all like, yes, like no hesitation. And they're all animal lovers, too. So that's how it all became. So we're all great friends, and we all pretty much know each other's music and have done plenty of shows together. So we're going to be able to sing with each other and play with each other. It's almost going to be like an acoustic band together.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah,
so there's
it'd be
going to be
great.
some harmonies and backups.
And it's just going to be hit
Yeah.
after hit after hit all night long.
Awesome. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So happening tomorrow night, Troubadour. Tickets are available. What's the easiest website for them to go to find it?
If you go to petcommunitycenter.org, there's a link on our homepage.
Oh, perfect. That's
Super
very easy. Okay, awesome. And if people are interested in finding out more about what happens at Pet Community Center, that's a great place to do it as well.
I don't know what I have done, but number one, I have a 12-year-old beagle, so I know what I personally have done. But I don't know what I have done on social media, that my entire algorithm on Facebook is senior rescue dogs. New York City apartments and senior rescue dogs.
Yeah,
So
I hear
every
you.
day I'm like crying as these senior rescue dogs are being adopted and found like new homes.
And you're
So-
wondering why you're not getting any work done because you're sitting there looking at all the pets on there.
Yes. To my boss, Eric Markham, good morning. That explains a lot of issues we have sometimes here on Coffee Country and Cody. But that is the thing, too. I mean, when animals are young, they kind of, you still need the annual visits, but they kind of take care of themselves, right? As they get older and older, things tend to get more and more expensive for a lot of people.
Absolutely, and that's why it's so important, just those annual vaccinations and that monthly prevention and spaying and neutering your pets, all of those things add up over the course of a lifetime that you prevent, the likelihood of more advanced diseases or illnesses and things like that. So it's, preventative care really is a life-saving approach to owning a pet, just like we want to get our annual visits. Yeah, we want our pets to get those too.
Wow. Well, I think we're going to play a hit right now. Is that all right with you?
Is it from Brandon or me?
Well, we'll go with yours. Ladies first.
His new project's not out until the summer, so he'll come back and visit with us then. So
Anita and Steve Warner, number one, 1997.
I know, right?
Yeah,
We're almost 30 years at that.
Wow. Oh, you got to do something big for year 30.
I know.
Please do.
I know.
And this is one you wrote.
Yes.
So how did Steve become a part of the project?
Well, I had just signed with Warner Brothers, and I was still living in Michigan at the time. And I was working in a recording studio, and my manager kept asking me for songs I was writing. It was before I signed with my manager, and I wrote a couple songs, sent it to Warner Brothers, got the record deal. Well, then he came to me and he goes, you're such a huge fan of duets. I love Loretta Lynn, Conway Twitty, Kenny and Dolly, George and Tammy, they just, my whole life. And he said, you should just write a duet for your record. And I was like, okay. And at the time, there wasn't that many duets had been out.
Right.
It's like it went by the wayside for a while. And so I was like, okay. So I have these two friends of mine who wanted to be together, and they were afraid to tell each other. So that's really why I wrote the song. They were telling me about it instead of telling each other. And they had been friends for a long time. So that's really where the story came from when I wrote the song. I had never met Steve Warner in my life, but I was a huge fan of Steve my whole life. I used to sit and play his cassettes over and over, I said cassettes. For any of you who do not know what that is, it's a little rectangular thing, and it has tape that runs through it. And I would play his solos over and over and learn every solo he ever had. And so when I was writing the song, I was like, gosh, Steve Warner needs to sing this song with me. He doesn't know who I am. But I was like, He's got to. So I wrote the song and the melody in a key that I thought he could sing it in with me. Because you know, when you do a duet, it's hard for a man and a woman to match their vocals. Like, is it too high for the guy? Is it too low for the woman?
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, Steve's got an amazing range, so hopefully he'd be able to sing. And I came to Nashville and played Jim Ed Norman at Warner Brothers the song, and he loved it. And he's like, I said, well, I've never met Steve, but I would love to have him sing on it with me. And so he called Steve, and he said, I've got this girl I just signed, and she's a great guitar player, and she loves you, and she wrote this song with you to come sing it with her. So he showed up in the studio, and that was the first time I met Steve.
Wow.
Singing next to one of your biggest heroes, you know.
This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
We are talking all about a special show that's happening in town tomorrow night. It's going to be at the Troubadour. My Furry Valentine. My favorite kind of Valentine would be a furry Valentine, I have to say. Anita Cochran is here along with Brandon Dice. He's the CEO of the Pet Community Center, and that's where 100% of the proceeds will be going from tomorrow night's show.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. These artists have donated their time. The Troubadour has opened the building to us. So, 100% of the ticket sales are going to help vulnerable pets and families in our community.
Now, we may have a lot of people watching on circlecountry.com or Peacock and Roku, and they're watching all over the country. So obviously they may not be able to make it tomorrow. But is there a way for them to help out if they think, well, man, this sounds like a great thing. I would love to donate.
Sure, absolutely. Well, we'll be pretty active on social media tomorrow night, so they can go and follow Pet Community Center on Facebook and Instagram, and we'll probably, do a few clips of some of the songs so they can get an inside peek of the Troubadour there. But then also, our website, petcommunitycenter.org, is a great place to find out about volunteering. We have a wish list there for program supplies, and that can be anything from a bag of dog or cat food for a family that's in need, or collars and leashes, and laundry detergent. We wash a whole lot of laundry in our clinic every day, or just things like that.
That's crazy when you think about what it would take, everything to put it together. And I know friends of mine are always like, bring us towels. We always need towels. We always need paper towels, and we always need laundry detergent.
Yes.
Those are always some big needs that are happening. For people that are interested, they can make donations right on your website as well. If they want to go to Pet Community Center, that's an easy way to do it.
Absolutely. We never say no to that.
Yeah, petcommunitycenter.org. Tomorrow night, the lineup is killer because Anita got on the phone and nobody says no to her. Mandy Barnett, Wade Hayes, Jamie O'Neill, Brian White. They're all going to be a part of the show tomorrow night. So how many pets do you have now? You were telling me about the cats at the lake house.
Yes. So, I have a lake house, and I started off feeding one a couple months ago because it was cold outside, and then got a cat house for it that was a warming inside and electric. It's running my electric bill up right now. and
send me the link. We need
I
one
know.
right here.
And then 2 other cats came in. So, but I have 3 animals myself. One, they're all rescue. Molly is my Old English sheepdog. She's just turned 15 in December, and they normally only live to 10 or 12 years old. And she's the love of my life. I don't know if you've seen her, but she's just the most amazing dog I've ever seen in my life. And she was a stray. And so, it's animals are everything to me.
Yeah, it's so fun when they find you.
And she found me. She came into my yard with a sister. And Suzanne Alexander actually took the other one, Stella.
Yeah.
And we were both drawn to, each one. And but Molly has just, she was there for me when I was going through breast cancer so bad.
That's right.
And she would lay by me. And no matter what, when she was laying by me, it was just, she made everything better.
There's a piece about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's incredible.
I was going to say, we see about 70 dogs and cats every day in our clinic, and a portion of those are spay-neuter surgeries. And so families drop their pets off in the morning around 7:30 or 8, and they come back between 3:30 and 4:15. And I always tell people my office is right in the lobby, and when people come through, they haven't seen their pet in a matter of hours, but you would think it would be a matter of weeks. And they're like, where are, and they're wringing their hands, and they just can't wait to see them. And when they come barreling through the door, like they jump down, and it's amazing what our pets mean to us, right? Like they are our family members. And so, and that's what is super important to us, is making sure that every family in our community that wants to have the love of a dog or a cat, you shouldn't have to have the privilege of owning a pet.
Oh,
What really breaks my heart is when you have people who are, right now, the economy is so hard on almost everybody, is that when, I've witnessed people having to turn their dogs in, you know, to a rescue center or to a kill shelter. Please don't do that. There's rescue sites for every kind of animal out there. But, you know, because they can't afford the vaccinations or their surgeries. And it just kills me that people have to get rid of their animal because they can't afford it because of that very reason. But thank God for you guys at the Pet Community Center that you're there.
Well, thank you. We try to be, for sure.
Petcommunitycenter.org for more information. If you want to get tickets, they're still available. Again, happening at the Troubadour. Thank you both for what you're doing. It means the world. We know that it's fun for you because you get to hang out with friends and sing songs, but it means a lot because the money is going to such a great cause.
Right.
And thank you, Suzanne, for putting it all together.
Tell us about Fight Like a Girl, because that's what we're going to close with.
Okay. Well, I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2017, and it was aggressive breast cancer. So the first thing my oncologist said to me was, I'm taking you off your job, and your job now is going to be battle breast cancer. So, you know, to an artist, your living is to go play shows and things. And at first I said, you know, well, she explained what chemo works. You know, when I had to do a year of chemo. And she said, when you do chemo, she goes, you start to feel better about 3 or 4 days later. And I was like, okay, well, let's book my chemo like on a Monday. So on a Thursday, I'd be ready to go play a show. And she's like, no, that's not going to work. After my first chemo, I ended up in the hospital for 4 days. So, you know, so obviously I couldn't work. And after my 5th chemo, I got so sick. I almost died. I felt like I was going to die. And I was going to call my oncologist the next morning and tell her I have to stop chemo. And, you know, I still had the rest of the year to finish. And I felt a little bit better when I woke up, and then a couple days went by, I felt a little bit better, and I thought, I'm not giving up. It's beautiful outside, even though I lived on my couch for almost a year. And thank God for the music community for being there and my friends to take care of me, because it was god-awful, you know? I wouldn't wish it on anyone. But instead of giving up my battle and stopping cancer, I went out on my tractor, because I thought, well, it's beautiful outside. I can sit on a tractor and mow my front yard. And, you know, I needed some sunlight, and I ended up riding Fight Like a Girl on my tractor. And so I started a charity to help people. Not only did it help me get through my battle, because it gave me something else to think about. I recorded the song when I was sick. I shot a video when I was sick for it. And it was my goal to help other people, no matter what battle you have. It could be a divorce. It could be an illness. It could be anything. But don't give up. You know, you have to keep the faith and know that you're strong enough to get through it.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank
Good
you
to
for
see
having me.
you. Waking up this morning, we all kind of think the Super Bowl was a snooze. It was just a very one-sided victory for the Eagles. And
The Eagles fan in attendance enjoyed the game.
you liked it?
Fun.
Okay,
I had fun.
You had
Yeah.
fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also one of those, I just wanted a better game.
Me too.
I wanted more back
Yeah.
and forth.
I was stunned it wasn't good.
Yeah, it just, it was kind of,
Yeah.
but beforehand, looked like it was a real good time. We talked about the pre-show and how fantastic it was. But even before that, there was a show that was happening the day before. Post Malone was down there. He was like the official tailgate show, and he teamed up with Jelly Roll. He brought Jelly out on stage, but I found a piece of video that is great. This is behind the scenes. Jelly Roll and Post Malone, and watch them as they start singing along to Zach Top.
I don't know how it feels to hurt.
He's lighting up a cigarette. Here they come in. They're going to sing it at the chorus. I love this.
Wish I could say I miss you, but you know I never lie.
The fact that they are loving Zach Top's song just did my heart good. That made me happy.
Yeah, probably did Zach Top's heart good as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
it
would
sure
think.
did. So Post Malone has been on our lips because we've been looking for these cookies and we finally got them. They are the Post Malone Oreos Special Edition. This is the first time they've ever done a swirled center. It's swirled salted caramel and shortbread flavor cream. We got chocolate on one side, the blonde cookie on the other side. We're going to do an on-air taste test right now.
Okay, you opened it up.
Okay, everyone has one. Jeff, did you get one upstairs? He didn't take one upstairs with him?
Jeff.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right. We're taking a bite. Immediately, I can taste
Whoa.
the salted caramel, and I'm loving it. What do you think, Annie?
Very caramelly.
Yeah? You don't look like you like it.
I love an Oreo.
Uh-oh. I
This
feel like
is
there's a
good.
butt coming.
No, it's good. You know what I don't love? Sorry, Charlie. I don't love a blonde Oreo.
Oh, they're my favorites.
No.
I love the blonde.
You're wrong.
Okay.
I like chocolate.
You're wrong.
The original
wrong.
Oreo is
Welcome to my world.
so good.
I'm
it's too
I'm
blonde.
liking this. I think if it had, I'll be honest, if it had chocolate on both sides, I think it would be too much.
Oh,
Because the caramel is like you said, it's very rich, but I'm enjoying it. What are you thinking? You're eating the
I'm enjoying
middle.
just licking the middle.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you think is the best? Like, do you like this?
The blonde
part?
is better.
Yeah.
Well,
Out of
it wasn't worth the hunt. Let's put it that way.
really,
Yeah.
you don't think so?
It was okay. Yeah,
Okay.
it's okay.
Charlie was all over God's green earth trying to find
Well,
me.
Lord,
That's
I tried.
true. He
I
put in the
tried,
leg
yes.
hours for this. Okay, out of 10, what are you giving it?
7.
7. Annie, out of 10, what are you giving it?
I'd give it a 5. It's
Ooh.
not bad. It's not great. It's right in the middle.
Oh, I'm going solid 8.
Okay.
Ooh, I really enjoy.
All right.
All right, so hopefully you can get some Post Malone Oreo cookies. You heard it here. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't.
More coffee, country, and Cody is on WSM.
One more last chance, Vince Gill. You heard him, and now we're going to talk to the man who wrote it. Good morning, Gary Nicholson. How you doing?
I co-wrote it with Vince.
Co-wrote it. Okay. Was Vince in the room, or were you
Yeah.
over there like typing and you said, "Look at this"?
No,
Okay.
he came over to the house. I met Vince because we both played on a Guy Clark record. When I first moved here, I played with Guy Clark for 3 or 4 years, and we made a record. Rodney Crowell produced it, and Vince and I played guitars on the record.
I remember talking to Guy about Vince coming out to California and doing shows. He was in California, and I said, what was it like having this new upstart with these big long eyelashes and movie star handsome looks coming in? And Guy looked at me and he goes, they weren't there to see him. They were there to see me. I was like,
that.
you're right. You're right.
Well,
That's
those were
incredible.
early days. I
Yeah.
know that Rodney Crowell said he was at the Troubadour in L.A. and he heard a guy in the next room singing one of his songs, and he said, "Wow, that guy sings better than I do."
Who is that over there? Well, thanks for getting up and coming in. It's
Glad
good
to
to
be here.
see you. All right, this new album, Common Sense. Give us all the details on it.
Well, my last record was called The Great Divide,
Mm-hmm.
and it was reflective of our culture, and this record is kind of an extension of the same thing. The title song, Common Sense, starts with, if you want to be skinny, don't eat the whole pie. Stay away from the ice cream in the middle of the night. But by the end of the song, it's directly speaking to a lot of things that have occurred in our culture over the last few years, even including a reference to George Floyd and that
Wow.
kind of thing. So
There's a lot to talk about.
there's a lot of common sense. People on both sides of the divide speak about common sense all the time. So
Right. Well, coming into town, how old were you when you came to Nashville?
I was 30.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so we hear a lot of people that are coming in here at 19, 20. What did you know at 30 that you felt like gave you an edge? Because there is something about coming into town when you've already lived some life.
Well, I moved to Hollywood when I was 20.
Okay.
So I made a couple records that didn't do much of anything, but one of the band members of that group was Jim Ed Norman, and he had success as a record producer, and he moved me and my then 2 young sons and my wife to Nashville in 1980 to write for his publishing company. And then he went on, after 3 years of me writing for him, he went on to run Warner Brothers Records for 25 years or whatever.
Yeah.
And I started as a staff writer at Tree Publishing, which is now Sony Music.
Right.
Turned out to be a pretty good contact.
It was a good thing
Yeah.
to write for a major publisher. I was there for 15 years or so before I started my own company.
You know, it's interesting. We opened with One More Last Chance. You know, sometimes you get a cut, but it's an album cut. So the only time the artist ever sings it might just be the one time he sang it on studio. But like One More Last Chance, Vince loves that song. It's kind of his CC Rider. It opens every Vince Gill show. Yeah. Just about any time he's at the Opry, he plays that song. Yeah, so it's kind of so cool that you know, this many years later, it's still alive and well.
I feel really fortunate to have him singing that song. It's great to just be walking in a mall or something and hear a blast from the past.
Don Williams, your first #1 song?
Yeah, that's the thing about love. That was a co-write with Richard Lee, who wrote
Don't It Make Your Brown Eyes Blue? Yeah. Oh, wow. That's great.
That's incredible. Congratulations, by the way. 2022 Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame.
Oh, thank you.
That's one of those honors that when you get it, you're like, okay, that's cool. But what does it mean when you get to actually think on it after a while? Just to know that all of your peers are the ones that look at you and go, yeah, this is a body of work that's incredible.
Well, of course, it's amazing and a thrill, and you know, you feel like, wow, okay, it happened. I was inducted to the Texas Songwriter Hall of Fame 10 years previous to that.
Nice.
And I still was aspiring to be in the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame. So when that happened, it was special.
We're going to feature a song coming up, and I had to double check and make sure I wasn't saying it wrong. It's Bob Dylan Whiskey. Yeah. And I was like, this isn't Bob Dylan cutting a song called Whiskey. This is your song, Bob Dylan Whiskey.
Ironically, I listened to Gary's whole album on my cardio this morning, but during the Super Bowl, literally was drinking some Heaven's Door.
Oh, really?
Bob Dylan. Yeah, that's why that song was like
Whiskey?
hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, well, this is so perfect. Wow. It was coming in this morning.
Full circle.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's pretty good whiskey, isn't it?
It is. I was doing the Refuge, which was the finished rye, but he's got a whole series in there.
Yeah.
And the bottles are so, people don't realize. He does iron work. He does watercolors. In addition
He's
to
just a true creative.
writing some pretty good songs.
Yeah.
There's some kind of he welds gates.
Yes. Yep. That's the. Yep.
And so on the bottle there's some depiction of a gate welded by.
It's a neat looking bottle. Have you seen A Complete Unknown?
I haven't. I loved it.
Oh man, it's good.
I enjoyed it.
I've seen it twice.
Much.
Yeah.
So give us the backstory on this before we play it. Bob Dylan Whiskey.
Well, it's. You know, I'm an older guy. I graduated from high school in 1968, and that's the year that we lost Bobby Kennedy and Martin Luther King. And my hometown was Dallas, Texas. So I'd seen JFK murdered there in '63. But through the turbulent events of our culture at that time, we had Bob Dylan's songs to kind of lean on and give us some way to help process all the turbulence. And I just realized he doesn't write those kind of songs anymore. And I saw an interview with him where, you know, someone was saying, what about that? And he said, I did that then, but I don't do that anymore. He says, I can't do that anymore. I did it. It's done. But so the idea for a song called Trying to Write a Song I Wish He Would Write, because he was really good at it. Yep.
We're going to play it right now. It's Bob Dylan Whiskey. Gary Nicholson is with us in studio.
More coffee, country, and Cody is on WSM.
He's in the Texas Songwriters Hall of Fame, the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame. He's got 3 Grammys and a whole bunch of hits, and he's here with us talking about the brand new album. Welcome back, Gary Nicholson. Where do you keep your Grammys?
They're just on a shelf.
You're so humble about it. It's like, I would have them right when somebody walked in the house. They'd have to look right at them.
Spotlit.
Yeah. On the foyer. Yeah, so you have.
I just start wearing them around my neck.
There you go. Yeah.
It's nice.
It's kind of heavy.
It would be heavy, but man, people would really talk about it.
Yeah, they'd say, look at that guy.
Look at that guy.
What's interesting, though, is for all the success as a songwriter, and there's been a lot of success as a songwriter, the Grammys are all for production. Which is really, so what is that side of what does being on that side of the board do for you?
Well, the thing is, you know how Grammys, all awards, the reason I have Grammys for producing is because of my friend Delbert McClendon, who worked the road his entire life built a huge following. And so by the time I started producing his records, he'd already done all the work. He's already famous, and all we had to do is make a really great record. And so I got some Grammys for producing his records with him, and we wrote the songs together. We just made the music, and then, awards are wonderful.
They're nice.
I'm proud, but it's not because of some outrageous skill I have as a record producer. It's really because Delbert was involved.
You have over 700 recordings, it says on your website. It's a whole lot of songs. If there was one that you had to choose and they said, what would be the one song that you want to be remembered for, what would be the song?
Well, when I was inducted to the Nashville Songwriter Hall of Fame, you're supposed to do that very thing.
Okay.
Choose one song. And I chose a song of mine called The Trouble with the Truth that was recorded by Patty Loveless years ago. I wrote it by myself, and I was proud of the song. And when I would do an interview such as this, I would play that song. Even though it had not been recorded for 8 years, I was writing it at Tree or Sony in those days. And one evening, Patty Loveless and her husband, Emery Gordy, were cooking dinner, and they heard me playing the song on the radio. And by the time I got home, a fellow named Peter Rodman from around here was doing the interview, and he called and said, "Hey, they heard you singing your song on the radio." And I called the next day, and then they recorded it, and it was the title of her record. So it's special to me.
Yeah. Only in Nashville.
Wow, what a way to pitch a song. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, if Gary's going to play live for us, so if anyone out there would like to cut the song he's about to do, Gary will be happy to accept phone calls on this.
We'll open up the phone lines. We'll get the hotline going. What do you want to play? You want to play something off Common Sense for us live?
Yeah, I'm going to play this song that's a tribute to John Lewis. We have John Lewis Boulevard here in Nashville, and I'm just a huge fan of John Lewis, and that's what inspired this song. It's called Make Good Trouble.
Going to be playing March the 3rd. It's going to be at the Hutton, the Analog at the Hutton. People can come out. Where do they get tickets? Just go on your website?
Yeah, or you can go to the Analog website.
It's a great room.
Yeah, it's like you're in. It's got a living room feel
Sure
to it.
does. Great
Yeah. I like it
sound.
there.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful. Thank you for coming in.
So glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
The new
Appreciate it.
album, Common Sense. It's out. Gary Nicholson. Love having you. Come stop by and see us whenever you want.
Oh, thank you so
Would
much.
love it. All right, there's more right here on Coffee Country and Cody.
From WSM Radio, this is Coffee Country and Cody.
Oh, it's Coffee Country and Cody. We are live this morning. Live, awake, all together with it. I'm back on coffee. Big announcement. Big
Really?
announcement.
Oh,
Breaking
that's
news.
so great.
Breaking news.
I'm glad you're
feeling
back.
good about myself. Yeah, went through just about a week and a half without coffee, just doing tea, just to feel it out. I woke up Saturday and I was like, you know what sounds good? A cup of coffee. And now I've never looked back.
Right.
So, yeah, it's one. I tried.
Yeah.
I tried it for a while. Every once in a while, it's good to give your system a break, I think. Look at you. You're like,
I
not
give
me.
my system a break every day. After I have my third cup, I don't have another one till the next morning.
Yeah.
I have at least 16, 17 hours worth of a break for my system.
And that's more than we need. That's really
Plenty.
more than we need.
That's plenty.
All right, waking up the day after the Super Bowl, a lot of people calling in sick. If that's you, good. Glad that you're listening to us and that you're a part of the family. If not, well, then, you'll get through it. It'll be fine. Take another cup of coffee. You need it. Also, we're doing just a recap of what we thought of the Super Bowl overall. And it's not just us. I have friends that I talked to last night too, and they were kind of the same wavelength. We were all just kind of like, okay, it wasn't exciting. It looked like a good time in New Orleans, that's for sure.
I was so excited because the pregame was about as good as I've ever seen.
Yeah.
In the heart of the city. Lady
Beautiful
Gaga at
backdrop.
night at Bourbon
Yeah.
was just magical. I thought Harry Connick Jr. with the Southern University Marching Band. I'm a sucker for marching bands.
Sure.
I thought that was great. And then the game started.
Yeah. And then, womp, womp, womp.
I know
enjoyed
Annie's
it,
the
you
Eagles
guys.
fan, so
yeah,
yeah.
I had so much fun, and we didn't win 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's true.
Same matchup. So I was
So
very
it's
excited.
good.
It was really fun.
I did see a very interesting Instagram post. It was somebody who lives in New Orleans. It was like, really? Look how clean these streets are. And they were going along, just the curb, because that's always where the gunk is in New Orleans, even when they pressure wash it. Clean as a whistle. And the comments were so good. It was like, oh, we know how to clean up when company's coming. Or when money's coming to town, you're going to look your best, right?
See, even on vacation, I wake up crazy early. So
Yeah.
I'm up at 5:30 or 6 a.m. So I get the joy of watching all the shopkeepers hose off the sidewalks and wash all that
Yes.
into the
okay.
street.
I need to fact check this. I don't know if this is true or not, but someone said that they were spraying lemon zest in the air up and down all of Bourbon and the French Quarter because it has a very pungent odor. We've discussed in, the past, there's a smell to New Orleans.
Sure.
It's not a welcoming smell, really.
Well,
No, there's nothing. Hot garbage and urine just isn't what says welcome to our city. So I don't know if that was true with the lemon zest. But
What was the combination?
hot garbage and urine?
That's pretty close. Yeah.
What? Am I wrong?
No, that's very
Okay.
accurate. That's
and beer.
very
Throw
accurate.
some beer in there too.
Sure,
Got that beer
yeah,
topper
yeah.
right there that floats on top.
yeah.
Anyway, all that to be said, New Orleans did it right.
It looked clean.
It looked great. It was clean. Post Malone was like the pregame tailgate. He was having the time of his life. He actually played and pulled Sierra Farrell up, and they did a little duet of Jackson, which I absolutely loved. I think we have a little bit of that video for you, so take a look at this. Sierra Farrell is killing it. So to just paint the picture for everyone, Posty was like barefoot and his shirt was open probably to his navel. He's loving his life. This is like peak Posty at this point, having a good time. He brought Jelly Roll out later. We had video of Jelly and Post singing a Zach Top song behind the scenes. I mean, he was having a party. It was a party wherever Posty went.
And you talk about a week for Sierra Farrell.
Right?
4 Grammy Awards in Los Angeles, and like 5 days later in New Orleans playing the Super Bowl with Post Malone.
She's killing it.
I mean, it's pretty cool.
She is killing it. Speaking of Post Malone, Charlie went on the hunt. We found the Oreos, the
Yes.
Post Malone limited edition Oreo cookies. They are Posty's swirled salted caramel and shortbread flavor cream. We gave them a taste test earlier in the show, and we will save you from crunching in your ears again. I said I gave them like what did I say, 8? I think 8 out of
Did
10.
say 8.
Yeah,
8
I
out of
gave
10?
them a 7. I enjoyed the filling, and I think I would like them better if they were all blonde. They are
the
blonde and
chocolate.
chocolate. And I didn't think it was a
Annie?
great combination. They
I
were
feel
okay.
the opposite. I feel like I like the chocolate of an Oreo.
Right.
I don't like a blonde Oreo.
Okay.
So I gave him a 5.
Well, we could each be happy then with this
And then,
bag.
So true.
we didn't have Jeff weigh in. Jeff Roberts, he gave it a 7.
7.
Okay.
All right.
So,
Yeah. They
average.
they got individual designs on each cookie, which
Yeah,
is
they're
kind of cool.
Yeah.
So-
Were they more expensive than regular Oreos or no?
They were $4.98.
Oh.
It's been, I don't know how long it's been since I bought Oreos, so I didn't know if that
Right.
was in the ballpark of what a normal Oreo.
I think
And you're
that's
at Target,
normal.
so that's
Yeah,
a
that's
little-
true. I was at Target.
Target's
By the way,
always
I found like free range organic eggs for $6.95 a dozen, and everybody's whining about the
you better
eggs.
get 'em.
That
You
was a
better
great
get 'em.
price.
That's a
I was
great
very
price,
happy.
yeah.
I don't know. Everybody's complaining about eggs. I'm like, this is what I always pay. I felt so happy. I was almost going to post it, and then I thought, no, someone's going to come and buy all these eggs.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
So talking about it on the radio wouldn't achieve the same thing. I was kind of stupid right there. Anyway, yeah.
All right. Well, if you still want a sweet treat and you can't find the Post Malone Oreo cookies, wait till March 17th because there's something new coming to Dairy Queen. I'm pretty excited about it. It's a Blizzard, and this one is the Oreo Mint Blizzard. So still in the Oreo family, but this one is mixed with their, and I will let you in on a secret. It's not ice cream, it's ice milk.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but there's some
Okay.
legal reason it is ice milk and not ice cream at Dairy Queen. Just from a former employee from years ago, I do know that.
Okay.
But yeah, that's going to be happening for St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. I'm
Very
looking
nice.
forward to that. So, little something.
My niece told me the Shamrock Shakes are back at McDonald's too.
Wow.
If you're a fan of those.
If the ice cream machine is working,
Well, don't get me started.
that's
Yeah.
anybody's guess. Anybody's guess.
Lazy. Just don't want to clean it.
Thank you again to Gary Nicholson for coming in today. We love talking to him. Anita Cochran and Brandon Dice, they were a part of the Pet Community Center show that's going to be happening tomorrow night. And stay tuned because tomorrow we have guests that are coming in.
T. Graham Brown and Radney Foster. We're going to have a lot of fun on the Tuesday edition.
What a show. Thanks for being with us today. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Coffee Country and Cody, leaving you with Drew Baldridge and Tough People.